it's Tyler from the future here. I just went to go edit the video here, and I realized that our sound, as seems to be the issue lately, was a little bit screwy. It's only for the first 3 minutes or so, 4 minutes. Um, if you want to skip ahead past that, like I said, just about the 3 or 4 minute mark that it starts to fix itself. About halfway through our first book ish. By the second book, it's all fixed up. Could be a little bit, maybe it's 6 minutes. I'm not exactly sure on the time, but it fixes itself. So yeah, that's all. Enjoy the show, and see y'all next week. Hello, everybody. How we doing? I guess as you can tell from the format that it's set up and how bright it is over behind Nathan, it's not 8 o'clock at night. We decided because with Comic-Con going on this weekend, and we're busy helping Justin and Big Country set up over there, that we would pre-record this episode. That way we can still get something out and not have to miss out this week. So it's just a little bit before 11 o'clock over here right now. So if any crazy comic book news happens after that, I guess we've missed out on that one. But we've still got a decent amount of stuff to go over today. So we might as well just jump straight in. No Marvel book this week. Just odd.
You can jump into Star Wars, that's your domain.
We do have a couple Star Wars. Yeah, so we'll jump right in. We'll start off with Darth Vader. Just like we had last week, all the Star Wars titles are finishing up with War of the Bounty Hunters, which feels like it's been going on forever, when it's only been a couple months. Maybe, well, no, I guess 5 months. Yeah, that's a while, but it feels even longer because every issue is sort of retold the same story. It's not a bad issue. It's finally tying things up. The only thing that really happens in this is in the end there that Ujiv Bastoon, we find out that he's a bit of a double agent, and that's not really a surprise, seeing as that's what he's been doing between the Emperor and Vader this whole time anyway. But decent issue, nothing super crazy exciting there.
I like that character, that Uchiho Bastoon character. I like that character. I've liked the other new character they introduced in the Bounty Hunters. I've liked all the new characters they've introduced, even in the Republic with the Monster Hunter character there too from Temple Peak. That's a good one. Yes, you still got Greg Pak writing and Raphael Ienco doing the art. Yeah, good story. Nice way to conclude the I guess the saga. You got a little bit of foreshadowing what's going to come next, and it's good. I liked it. There was a few Star Wars books this week, and not one stood out more than the other, but and they all do kind of blend together, like you said, because it's all just the same moments, just told by different perspective. But it was very good. I liked it.
Yeah, and our next one is, I think, probably going to lead into bigger things, and I think this one maybe more so than some of the other one-off issues we've got, and that's IG-88, who
I think so too.
we all thought was dead, right? Vader had chopped him up a while back because that other new character there, the Umbaran, who works for the Emperor, had hired him to take out Vader and whatnot. And he just gets rebuilt by some guys. The story itself, nothing, again, same with Vader, nothing crazy. It just seems that the IG units were all developed just to murder and kill. That's what their whole prime coding was. Their prime directive, I guess.
Yeah,
but now since he's been rebuilt, he's been not reprogrammed, but that piece of programming that's just meant to be a murder robot is gone, and he's sort of gained sentience. He has a new lease on life,
Yeah,
and
it's kind of like when Vision and Ultron and all that first started too. Like same idea. So yeah, I like that. It was cool. The For this you got Rodney Barnes doing the writing, and you got Guillermo Villanova doing the artistry. Um,
the
I
art
told
was
Tyler,
weird in this one.
yeah, but it was still
Like
it's
humanoid
interesting.
faces, not great, but everyone else looked good. You get like Boba Fett when he just got his helmet on, IG-88, they all look good, but anyone humanoid just looked weird.
Yeah, but I mean that's being a Star Wars book, you can get away with that because being aliens and whatnot. Yeah, I think I always kind of like this character since they've introduced it, and I think now with them expanding upon this whole bounty hunter universe and just Star Wars universe in general, I definitely think they're gonna have more stuff with him as well. Um, Either his own solo stuff or tying in with other people because he's one of those characters that can be used like very seriously or kind of like comic relief as well too. So I enjoyed it. I was telling
I think where they left it in this, especially with his relationship with Boba Fett at the end, there's a good chance we'll see IG-88 pop up in that Boba Fett show starting up in December.
yeah, I could see that for sure because that's all it is. It's just more bounty hunter stories. So.
Yeah.
Um, I just want to mention to everybody too that right before the show started, I told Tyler that I have such a bad habit of butchering people's names on the show when I mention them. So as I was doing my notes, I made sure to write them out really, really clear, and I even practiced a few of them. That so I will try my best not to butcher anybody's name. So I hope everybody notices that. So,
I don't think there's anything too crazy in here this
there's
week.
there's a few actually. When you write them down and you try to say them after, it's a few, but that's okay.
Well, that's all we got for Marvel slash Star Wars this week.
Right.
Um, but we do have a couple of DC to go over now.
That's a
And
cool. But how about before we switch over to our next publisher, why don't we give a quick shout out to one of our, our mainstays for the show? I'll do the first one, and then we'll do a little break later on, and you can do the other one.
sure.
I want to just shout out to Justin at Big Country Comics. Like we've been mentioning for the last few weeks, and like Tyler mentioned a little earlier, this weekend is a big weekend for those guys, and we're happy to be a part of it at the Winnipeg Comic Convention down at the Convention Center this weekend. So please do come check us out. He's bringing in multiple artists, so you can buy books there from the artists and get them signed, and he will witness the signature. And he is a validator now for witness signaturing for CBCS. So if you want, you can get your book signed, and he can validate it and get sent away and graded. So I would like to mention that. And you can see me and Tyler, because like I said, we'll be there.
Yeah.
All right, let's do DC now.
Okay. DC, we've got Batman, another Batman book. Batman: The Long Halloween Special.
Uh huh.
Um, it's a good book. It's a decent read. Again, same thing with, and for me, it's a bit of a running theme this week is nothing great, not bad, decent read. And then I'm probably going to say that for every book coming this week, minus maybe one or two. Um, but I've not read the original Long Halloween story. I recently watched the two animated films they did, and they were spectacular. But I had a hard time finding out if that animated film diverged a lot from the original story, or if this is actually just that much separate from the original story. But overall, I could still follow it. I still knew what was going on. I couldn't quite place it in the timeline if it was during or after. But overall, good artwork and again a decent
It,
story.
it is kind of. It just takes place during that timeline. It doesn't really tie into anything. It's almost just a random story that was put into that timeline. Um, yeah, because it doesn't really connect to anything besides it's just the characters. It happens around Halloween, and it has the original creative team on it. So you got Joseph Love doing the writing, and then you got Tim Sale doing the artwork. And when original story came out, that's one of the first things I got back into reading, comics. And I had stepped away for quite a few years, and I saw the Long Halloween and Dark Victory as collections, and I really liked the artwork and that, and it was good. That's what got me back in. So I was, kind of anticipating this book a little bit. I knew it was just going to be a Halloween one shot, and it was good. Like Tyler said, didn't blow me away. It just kind of, one more brick in that universe, but nothing newly introduced or anything, but still enjoyable. I always enjoy the art for Tim Sale, especially in Batman Long Halloween. It's one of my favorite stories. And this book mainly focuses on Calendar Man and Two-Face. So it's good to see those guys in there. Two of the less powered villains. Kind of just normal guys that are screwed up mentally and stuff like that, and don't do these crazy, unrelatable things. And Batman going after him, being a detective. So yeah, it was a good story. I liked it. It kind of made me think or related to the Batman radio adventures we did the week before. Simple, older kind of styles and stuff. So I like that stuff. So
Yeah. And then, yeah, that was definitely like a more traditional DC and Batman story. Our next one, not so much. It's actually very, very different. And that's DC versus vampires.
yeah,
And I thought this one was either a one shot or a 6-issue series, and it's actually a 12-issue series.
right.
And it's headed up by Tinian, and I keep getting surprised when I see his name pop up on stuff. But as we know from, was it last week we were talking about it, or a week before? There's a gap in the Nice House on the Lake story. There's no more until March, I believe it was. So I
Right.
guess they're really trying to stretch out how much Tinian they're getting from
Well, and
Tinian.
also too, his run on Batman itself ends, I believe, in November too. So I guess that for the next 6 months or whatever, he'll have like the rest of the Joker story, Joker book to finish up, which he probably has a few issues already. And then probably the rest of this vampire one, and then his solo stuff on the side. So yeah, that's probably what the whole timeline is. But crank it out before his contract's up. So
Yeah. But good book. This is one of the ones I liked a little bit more. I mean, it's obviously not your standard
yeah,
DC universe. It's, I guess, what you would sort of call akin to like a Marvel Zombies type deal. Um, they kind of
I
toss you right into the middle of a story that I don't recognize the character. I'm sure he exists because they speak about him like he exists prior, but
Yeah, I know the background because I knew you wouldn't be familiar with him. But you can finish off your
no,
thought.
no, no, continue.
Okay, so yeah, like we said, Tinian is writing, but he also has Matthew Rosenberg assisting him in the writing as a creative team, and then you got Otto Schmidt doing the art. And I really like the art on here. It was um, kind of colorful when it needed to be, and and kind of dark when it needed to be, and it seemed to at times, depending on what the scene called for, kind of switched a little bit of style. So that was good too. So basically, what's going on in this is our vampires are taking over the earth, and Andrew Bennett, which I'm assuming is the character Tyler's talking about, the vampire character he wasn't familiar with. He's the character from the old vampire series I, Vampire. So I'm sure that's been around for multiple volumes. So the I, Vampire is like the original vampire for DC, and he's trying to warn the Justice League that these vampires are going to be taking over. So he has a message that he tried to track down what's going on, and the vampire or the vampire virus, or they haven't really revealed what it is yet, has already infiltrated the Legion of Doom, and either killed the members that weren't going to move forward with the plan, or they've become vampires. And now
Scarecrow looked great. The way they drew him there, it looked awesome.
yeah,
He
it
reminded
really,
me of his Arkham Knight, like the game Batman Arkham Knight version. It's
right,
wicked.
yeah. and again, so some of them are alive, some of them are dead, and now the ones who are alive are part of this vampire army. And he managed to get out of there, and now he's at the Hall of Justice trying to warn the Justice League about it. So he's actually talking to Green Lantern and Hal Jordan, Green Lantern, and Zan from the Wonder Twins. So and they're getting the story across there, and there's, as usual, Tinian, there's a little bit of twist at the end in that. But I really like the story. In general, it's a good story start. I like it. It's in the kind of in the universe of the Super Friends. You got the
That's kind of what I was joking about as
yeah,
well.
you got the classic Legion of Doom with the Legion of Doom ship or base or whatever you want to call it, and you got the Hall of Justice with what looks like to be the Super Friends, and they have one of the Super Twins, and they have like banter and dialogue in the background referencing kind of other characters and joking on them and stuff like that. So
I'm hoping
I
we
don't
see
know.
Gleek.
Yeah, I think we will, especially being a 12-issue series. They have a lot of books to fill, so I'm sure we'll see all kinds of vampire incarnations of people. So it was a good start. I like that, especially being Halloween. So
Yeah, I'm looking forward to reading more of this one.
me too.
It was this or what was the other one? Oh, that Suicide Squad Task Force Z.
Yeah, which would look brutal.
Yeah, we didn't want to cover two DC verse type titles.
Yeah, which are basically kind of the same thing.
Yeah. We also had originally that new Aquaman and Green Lantern title. I think it's called Deep Target. Can't quite
I
see it
think
from
so.
here.
You target attack, and that sounded ridiculous too.
Yeah, I read it, and it is weird. Like Aquaman's become quite a popular character these last few years, ever since Jason Momoa, I guess, revitalized character. It's what he's been in comics for years, but to the general public.
Kind of
Um,
like Robert Downey did Fireman.
yeah, and then Green Arrow's been doing well ever since his show on the CW, and so and I've always liked Green Arrow. But it's just weird. Like they swap powers, and it's a weird book. I don't know. It was one that I didn't really want to cover because I had nothing really good to say about it. I didn't like any of it.
Yeah, I felt the same, so that's why we didn't do it. But and I guess in the end we just did do it. So
I guess so. Yeah. Um. Next up is an Aftershock book, and that
okay,
is
before you switch on to the indies, do you want to do think Ash there at 204?
yeah, for sure. Here I had it queued up already with this next one, so it's up there with Cross the Bear.
Okay.
Um, but yeah, I'd like to thank Ashley at 204 Comics. I was just in there yesterday, so I'm totally off with it being the morning. I was in there yesterday, and I was having a good chat. He has quite a bit of new stuff in there, actually. Aside from his new weekly new stuff, he had added quite a bunch of stuff to his dollar bins that he's been doing. I think he had just restocked all his back issues just within the last few days there as well. So if you haven't been there in a while, take a dig, because I saw quite a bit of stuff that, yeah, if it's there next time, I might pick up.
Well, yeah, and he keeps expanding on things too. Like he's brought in some more graphic novels.
Mm-hmm.
Lots of he's bringing in games now, board games and stuff. And being in Winnipeg, you always need stuff like that for winter.
Mm-hmm.
And when I was in there again on same thing Tuesday evening, early Wednesday morning, I can't remember now. He had like a whole wall of like new Funkos, and I'm not a Funko guy by any means, but I just stand there checking some of them out, and they're pretty cool, and he has great pricing on that stuff. Plus, one thing I do not get into at all, and I'm so confused when I see people come in and ask for it, is the Pokemon and Magic games and all that stuff, the card games. He has all that stuff, and yeah, I don't know nothing about it, but lots of people come in looking at that. So yeah, especially with winter coming up, you need to get that. You need to get your hobbies all stocked up. So
Yeah. Okay. So, Aftershocks Cross to Bear. Um, again, decent book. I liked the art for the most part. I sort of went back and forth. I enjoyed it, and then I was like, this kind of looks a little weird. And then I enjoyed it again, and it was pretty back and forth the whole time.
Hmm.
And the story was a lot of the same. I don't know. I felt kind of confused reading it. I didn't know what I was like. I don't know what was going on, or if I like if there's a lot of reading between the lines. It just it felt. I don't know. I don't know what it felt like. I read everything, and I feel like I don't really know what was going on.
I kind of felt the same thing too, and that's I think what happens a lot of times when we're discussing books and we kind of say we're confused a little bit. What happens is like there seems to be like in a lot of good stories. You obviously you're jumping around in someone's mind or in their timelines and stuff. And what I think happens is, you're following a story, but then they'll cut back to another scene or to a future scene, and they don't let you. They don't let you know that enough that they're doing a switch of scenes,
Yeah. Well, and
or
it's
don't
like we've
or they don't.
discussed before. So many of these are built to be shows or movies now, and
Right,
what works well on the screen doesn't always translate well to be done as a comic.
right,
Leave
and
it
you
for
don't want to be like,
interpretation after the fact. Don't write the script for the show in advance.
yeah, and for this too, it's like you don't want to say like meanwhile or during a flashback and that, but yeah, so that gets a little confusing. But you got Marko Stojankovic doing the writing, and you got Sinsa Stanovic doing the art, and I really like the art too. I don't know if it was different at times to kind of maybe that was their way of deferring the two between past and present. Um, it kind of has art like Hellboy, and I enjoyed the story, but yeah, it left me a little bit of confused too. And maybe that was supposed to be intentional to a certain degree to make you want to find out more and what the relationship was between the present and the past. But you have the members of the order, and they seem to be like almost like Knights of the Round Table type of group.
Old
And
Templar type thing, yeah.
yeah, and they have their mission or their life standard, whatever you want to call it, is to eliminate evil and stuff like that. So and then it kind of moves forward to like Tyler said or mentioned in like 1889 in Boston in like the Wild West type of days or early America days. And it seems like as these characters are starting to show up there and trying to get back together in this group to maybe tackle the project, but obviously they're way older in that. And so I don't know if these guys are kind of magical in the sense that they just age really slowly or what, but I mean obviously there's quite a big time difference between early America and the Knights and that. So, and it looks like that their mission maybe now is to still hunt down like serial killers and stuff like that. And they kind of hint that maybe in Boston they're looking for maybe Jack the Ripper. So again, it's kind of open ended there. It's just the beginning to a story. So I will read more because I want to find out what's going on in that, and I hope it kind of gets cleared up. But yeah, just a little bit confusing at first. But I mean, that happens a lot when you have indie books that are,
Well, and that's what I was gonna say is with it being an aftershock book, that sort of tends to be what it is lately. Is the start of it is a little bit slow, but usually by the end of issue two, it's starting to be a little
right,
less hazy.
right. Because if it is too clear all at once, then it kind of gets too formulaic, right?
Yeah.
So I'm sure it'll get better. And yeah, so same thing too. I didn't think there was nothing bad. I just there's not enough there for me to base an opinion on. Besides, I want to see more. So
Okay, and then our next book here is one of our Black Caravan imprint, and that is I don't know if it's the electric back, the Dark Caravan, or just the Dark
yeah,
Caravan, the electric back.
no,
Um,
it's the Electric Black presents like the Dark Caravan because the Electric Black is already a book that they have out already.
mhm.
And Electric Black is like a store that and has like all those guys living underneath. So this is what this is like another like a prequel to that story. So we got a lot of prequel stuff this week too because we got House of Slaughter coming up, which is like a prequel to that. So
Mhm.
all right, start it off, Tyler.
Well, this is one I wasn't actually able to grab.
Oh yes,
and
that's
I couldn't find online because much like the issues we've been having with our paper shortages or just books coming, because we have I think one book we had on here that's slated to come out next week, but we've
right.
already read it.
So we
It
just
was
left it.
already in store. But this one, I had to go back, I think 2 or 3 weeks to try, and that's when it was released. Because this one, I could have swore we had read already, or even
No,
talked about.
we meant to talk about, but it got pushed back for 2 or 3 weeks, and it just showed up in the store today. So, what we were kind of saying earlier, it is a prequel to an ongoing series called The Electric Black, and The Electric Black is almost like it's almost like a Nightbreed type of scenario. If anyone's familiar with the Clive Barker movie or the comic, you got these group of like freaks and stuff like that, and the Electric Black is like a store type saloon and stuff type of thing where they all kind of gather and they have stories come out from there. So what's going on in this, and it's the same people, is the Dark Caravan, and the Dark Caravan is actually the name of this group and who made the Electric Black, and a little bit more background story on them. So you got Joseph Schmelke doing the writing and the art, and you got Rich Woodell doing the writing and art as well. These guys seem to be pretty busy with Black Caravan because Rich Woodell, artwork wise, also does um, what's the one that we did last week with the gods and the rock and roll dude? Gods of Thunder or Gods of Brutality?
Gods of Brutality.
Yeah, God, he does the art for that. And Joseph Schmelke is on one of the other Black Caravan books we have later on here as well too. So Dark Caravan is the history of the group and how they formed the Electric Black. So the Dark Caravan is a traveling caravan or circus of freaks, and they all kind of group together, and some have powers, and some just look like mutant, versions of distortations and monsters and stuff. So again, if anyone's ever seen that Nightbreed movie or the comic, it kind of gives you that idea. So they're doing some traveling along, and they come across a group of traders and slavers and stuff, and they rescue a woman, buy her out because you can obviously tell that they feel that something's special about her. Well, the slavers are kind of evil dicks, and they follow the group back home, and they're just gonna murder the group at night and take the girl back and rob them blind type of thing. Well, they find out right away that that's not a good idea because these people are more than what they seem. There's a showdown where some people get killed on both sides. More characteristics are revealed about the Dark Caravan members, their powers and their mutations and stuff, and it kind of keeps going forward from there. So it'll be interesting to see because, like I said, I do like the whole Nightbreed era part of it, and I just want to see more what happens there because this is another universe that's it keeps on expanding to have more and more characters in it, prequel, forward, back and forth, spin-offs. So yeah, I enjoyed this. I'm glad it finally came out because I was waiting for this one for quite a while. And again, being a Black Caravan book, it has amazing covers that don't get messed up. So because they're a little bit extra cardstock in that. So.
And our second Black Caravan book for this week, and there's still another one to come, is We Don't Kill Spiders.
Right.
And
That's by
this is one
Joseph
I
Schmelke.
wasn't able to grab either. But it's been, well, I guess I can't say it's been a good series. It's only issue 2. But the first issue is really good. So this is one I'm hoping that I will get to come across eventually.
Yeah, like I said, this is a second book by Joseph Schmelke, and he does the writing and the art in here for this. So, being issue 2, quick recap is that in issue 1, there's a village that is having some issues with some curses and stuff like that. So they bring in a witch, and this witch is, I would say, her totem or her powers and stuff like that, or who she worships is a spider god, and the god used to be very, very strong at one point, and over the years is not as strong because people haven't worshipped it and stuff like that. So it gives a little bit of her history and what's going on in the current time, much like it seems to be the theme for almost everything going on. So, yeah, so this village has brought this witch here, and they're kind of afraid of her as well too, and they'll use her as long as they can to get their needs met, and then they want to get rid of her too, type of thing. Um, she finds out that the curse has been brought on by other other animal gods and that. So there's kind of like almost a showdown between these old gods and stuff like that, and it's still continuing on. But now they're kind of blaming her and that. But much like magic and stuff like that, if you don't understand it, you're going to get mixed up and obviously blame it in that. And I want to keep on reading it because it is a good story. The art is super creepy in here when it needs to be. A lot of like body mutation stuff like that, and pardon me. I mean, I don't like spiders. I don't think there's many people who do like spiders, and the way that they use the stuff like that in here is super creepy. Kind of like the creepiness that was involved with like when Spider-Man, part of the whole Death of Spider-Man and Craven's Hunt, stuff like that. The spiders crawling all over and just stuff like that. So yeah, a little bit of definitely great again for perfect for the Halloween horror season.
Mm-hmm.
And again, awesome cover because it's Black Caravan.
Yeah, the cover on this one is really nice. Just the red, and then I guess it's like a dark bluey green color.
Well, this is a book that gets a lot of exclusive covers and just different variants and stuff like that, and they're amazing, all of them. I showed you one the other night that I got there, and it was pretty amazing. So.
And then our third Black Caravan book. I didn't realize how many there were until I was lining them up for the show tonight. Well,
I didn't either until I was reading it. But it's kind of par for the course because I think for pretty much since every show we say our main stays are your behemoths, our scout Black Caravan, and the after show. We love those books or love those companies. So.
Yeah. So this next one is one that we're very familiar with. We read it months and months ago, and that's House of Crows, Swamp Dogs.
Mm-hmm.
And I always forget how good the main cover is for this. I like it. That's a great cover. I love the coloring on it.
Yeah.
But as we all know, we have our own cover for this one by Hugh Rookwood, and that's the one we got up here on screen. We've seen this one now, and it's a good time to pick one of these up because he's going to be at the show this weekend.
Right.
I feel a sneeze coming. I'm trying to fight it.
That's it. I'll take care of that while you're fighting it. So yeah, anybody who wants, they get one at the show this weekend, right there on site. From us at the group at the Big Country events. And anyone who's bought from us already, I'm sure you can just bring your book there and get it signed as well. And during this weekend, I'm going to take the opportunity to try and get a little video footage and maybe some interviews with the guys and stuff, or just opinions or quick social talks and that. So again, keep following up.
Yeah.
Oh, I guess I should talk about the story as well.
But yeah, book overall, it's good. It's a good book. It's a bit no, I wouldn't say raunchy. It's not the typical type of book I would read, but it's that grindhouse style.
I find it like a mixture of like a grindhouse meets a raunchy version of the Scooby-Doo gang, and that's what it's going to be.
Yeah, and it's not bad. Like I said, it's not usually my type of thing. The artwork on the inside is all really great. I love their use of colors, and I love some of the transitions they use while one thing is going on in one room. They're doing this creepy song. It seems like it's almost summoning the dead.
That's what it does, yeah.
And
the art there is by Cuber Ball. So, and then you got J.M. Brandt and Theo Prastis doing the creative, the writing. And yeah, you're neat. You nailed it exactly. The music going on by the band is a stoner band at a house when they're having a house party, and these two hot chicks meet up in a room and they start making out, and the combination between that and the songs, and there's some stuff going on in a graveyard where a guy's kind of robbing a graveyard, and he ends up hurting himself on a grave, and with triggers like a blood ritual. So all this stuff happens at once. This weird coincidence, and it brings these or summons these Civil War soldier zombies to life.
The Swamp Dogs.
Yeah, the Swamp Dogs. They were the one of the most fierce fighting army units of that time. Yeah, and again, it's taking place in Louisiana, so you see a little bit of the history when the Swamp Dogs were going on during the Civil War, and now you see this stuff going on in the present time. And what's going to happen, and much kind of like I said, is you got these two lesbian chicks that are making out at a party, and they're going to end up being on the run, and they're being chased by these zombies, and they're going to form a group with the stoner rock band. And they're going to be like the Scooby-Doo gang trying to figure out or escape these zombies. So, but again, much more mature in that, and it'll be fun. And this is another universe that they're planning to expand on instantly. So,
yeah, and like these two girls are only two of the characters we'll be following. There's at least two, maybe three more that we haven't even met yet. But I've seen the artwork for and the concept for.
Yep. Yeah, the members of the band. So, and they even have a band. So,
yeah. Next up is one that I wanted to cover because it's something we had talked about, and is even one that CE had mentioned as like a Halloween themed books he likes to read, and that's Hellboy.
Yeah.
But we picked a bad one, and just not a good one to start off with.
I know. I usually like Hellboy. I have most of the original stuff in like collected form.
And that's what I remember. That's what I expected this to be. I was really disappointed with this.
Well, and they even said too, like when the solicitations for this would be a good book to jump off if you're not familiar, or if you just want to start on something new and fresh, because it is like a whole brand new story. I mean, it still has its Hellboy history, but it's not like connected to anything ongoing, and it actually takes place in like the 50s, not current times. So it kind of shows more of the relationship of the Professor and Hellboy as they formed it, and not just it's been already gone on for generations. So you can start off if you want.
Well, it's got a lot of what I don't like, and it's happened with even some of my favorite books, and that's just word walls and exposition. And I'm sure it's gonna, I say it with the other books too, I'm sure it's gonna lead to something, but like add something in there, like have flashbacks to Hellboy or flash forwards to Hellboy doing something even remotely relevant, and like just something to break up this long. They're just sitting in a bar talking the whole time. Like it's
and that's what the whole series is going to be. You got it's called the Silver Lantern Club. And the Silver Lantern Club is going to be Hellboy and the Professor sitting there listening to stories about the Professor's uncle, I believe it is, who again is like a ghost hunter type of thing. But this issue, again, from Mike Mignola and Chris Robertson, I thought it would be, like I said, a good jumping off point, because I always like the monster stories and a lot of the stuff they use, because it's actually based on myths and stuff like that. So
folklore, a lot of myth, legends.
Yeah, folklore, very familiar feeling, just kind of expanded on, so kind of true to that. But this was so boring. Like Tyler said, so much just.
Well, I don't even see issue 2 having any more excitement or any more of that normal Hellboy, mystery. I don't see it happening.
No, and I understand it is supposed to be like that, because it's like them stories and like almost like a journal type of thing.
It could have just been a novel, like an actual novel.
Yeah, or graphic, graphic novel with pictures type, or a novel with a lot of pictures. The only reason I made it through the end is because I really like the artwork on here, which is a little different for Hellboy style and stories, because it's kind of bright.
I think there were two artists.
Yeah, there was two, but there was multiple artists, it said, so I didn't bother listing them down. And it was kind of bright and clean, whereas a lot of Hellboy stuff like is either Magnola or Magnola style, where it's dark and chunky and thick lines and kind of simple. So I enjoyed it for that. But man, this is my week pick of the week. This is definitely the book of the week. It was um, just so boring.
Yeah, I was hoping for a lot more with this one.
Me too. I was disappointed.
But we'll change gears, do something that we both enjoyed more, and it from another really good series. Well, it's the startup of a new one as well, and it's from Boom, and that's House of Slaughter #1.
Right.
Um, I don't think we have any sets left available. Hey, I think we sold out of the sets.
Yeah, I was going to mention that, so I'll continue on if you don't mind.
Yep.
I don't know. The book is out, obviously, and we did pre-sale those sets for the covers, so I believe they are all sold out. No, I know they are, actually. What I was going to say, I believe when Justin arrives today, he's bringing those. If not, we'll get those out as soon as possible to the people, or I'll be contacting those people, so you can obviously pick up your books. And we still just no, not by chance or anything like that, but we had ordered a lot of copies of singles of issue 1. So if anybody wants to get a copy, just a standard copy A, you can reach out to us. We have quite a few left, and they will be pretty cheap. They'll be $5. So.
And then
Yeah,
I believe we've also got some of the
Mike.
was it Mike Ruth ones as well.
Yeah,
I think we
yeah.
still have some of those available as well.
Yeah, we have. So you can order us for those as well. And yeah, Mike will be at the show this weekend. So if you can either, if you haven't bought a book from us in in the past,
Yeah, I mean, pretty much
yeah,
any book we show off at ever really,
yeah,
um, or any book that you have from any of the team at Big Country, they're all going to be there. I
yeah,
think
pretty much.
the only person that isn't going to be there is one of the
It's
new
Becca.
people that have joined their team, Becca. That he's done that with a Chilling Adventures or cover like.
Sorry, yeah, that archery,
Yeah,
new archery. So yeah, she
yeah,
won't be there. She had to cancel, unfortunately. But yeah, so let's continue on with this. But
yeah.
so you got Tinian and Tate Brown Bell doing the writing on this, and you got Chris Sheenan doing the art. And the art is awesome throughout this book. The covers are awesome throughout this too. There's
Hmm.
4, 5, 6
I've
covers.
not seen a bad cover.
Yeah, lots of exclusives in that, so you can't go wrong there. So what this is it's a deeper look into the House of Slaughter and the Order of Saint George and mythos. Spinning out of the Something to Kill the Children. So this kind of is a prequel, more background story on the order that Erica Slaughter, the hero, belongs to. We've seen that the Aaron show up in the Something's Killing Your Children. He's kind of like our handler slash frenemy type of thing. And it turns out that he's older than her, which we kind of figured out. And he's our mentor a little bit in there too, because she's quite a bit younger.
Mm-hmm.
Aaron is a black mask at the school, and the white masks we kind of find out are dicks. So they kind of break them into groups, kind of like the Harry Potter stuff. You got your House of Slither and your other ones, Gregor or whatever they're called, Gryffindor. Aaron gets a new roommate, and he's from a different school, kind of transferring in from the south, the House of Butcher, or they call it the Butcher de Maison, because he's from the Creole South type area. We find out, and they refer to later on, that this new boy becomes his lover, and also later his kind of like an enemy, and he has to kill him, and that's what this story is all about. So it is kind of different. It does, mention a lot of the stuff that we have seen a little bit in Something's Killing the Children, and I think it's going to be pretty interesting to see this again, branch out more and more and more of the Tinian Slaughter universe. I can see this also for sure being a TV show spinoff as well too. I'm sure they'll have Something is Killing the Children, and they'll have a TV show called like House of Slaughter or something like that. So very interested to see.
I thought the reverse. I thought they might start on a House of Slaughter and expand it to a larger thing. as something's killing the children.
Yeah, they could go either way. They
Yeah.
could go either way for sure.
Um, I wanted
I
to
was.
show because you had mentioned how many variants there are, like how many
Yeah,
exclusives. At the
yeah.
back of the book, there's actually a list, and it's like a full page. Oh, of course, it's not going to show it today. It's a
Oh, there
full
you go.
page list,
Yeah,
and there's tons and tons, like maybe 30 at least,
yeah. There's a lot. It's kind of like when Last Ronin came out.
and they're all good.
They are all good. I like I said, I quite enjoyed everything about this book, and not that I was expecting it to be not a good book. And I am a
It's
Tinian
always
fan, but
dicey with spin-off titles.
well, yeah, and it had been hyped up and built up for so much, so I didn't want to be too like it was hard to live up to what I was expecting, but it did, and I'm excited to see it go forward. And again, I'm a huge Tinian fan, so I really like this. So I hope the next issue has a little bit more action because when they have those monster fight scenes or fights among the black mask and white mask, it's just like savage. So I want to see that.
Hmm.
So I don't have I never do a pick of the week as in the best books because I find that's too hard to do. But this is definitely right up there.
You say that every week, and you say, "Yeah, I don't have a pick of the week," but this would probably be if I did do a pick of the week. This would be my pick of the week. Just
I
like you
know
say, yeah,
it's my way.
I'm not gonna buy anything anymore. I'm not gonna buy any more comics, and then you come home with first Black Mask or first Two Face. So, oh, look what I got.
Yeah, I know. But that's my way of protecting it myself. So all right.
um, Next up is our final book here, and this is one that it either did release last week, and it just didn't show up till this week, or it got pushed back. Who knows? I don't know. But
Oh
that's
yeah.
Pop Star Assassin, and this is one again because things are so screwy. I wasn't able to grab a copy of this one.
Yeah. Again, you get from Behemoth, and being a Behemoth book, they got the best, like not the best covers, but again, they got that heavier card stock that we like. Great artwork on all two or three covers that I saw. I think it's three that I have. What this is you got Ed Lavallee doing the writing, and then you got Marcello Basile doing the art. And I really like the art on here. It was trippy and colorful, and especially when you need it to be because there's it's Vegas in the 70s, and it's like there's obviously some drugs and stuff involved in that. So it's pretty trippy when it has to be, and kind of funny as well. So you got an Asian Elvis, and he's Bruce Presley, and he's an Elvis impersonator, and he gets mixed up in with the mob, the CIA, and some tripped out group who kind of wants to open up his eyes, like Matrix style, to stuff that's going on in the world. So he ends up kind of being sweet on a girl who looks like Marilyn Monroe at at the bar that he works at, and he's also kind of burned out and tired of his Elvis impersonating, and he feels like his manager's ripping him off and shit. So he ends up intervening into some goons that are beating up on this girl, which is the mob, and then the CIA shows up, because they're trying to like break into this mob, and then this other group shows up that wants to open up his eyes to what's going on in the world that can kind of controversies and stuff like that. So he gets mixed up in all of it. And again, he's just this Elvis guy that does a lot of blow, likes to party like it's 1977 Vegas. So yeah, interesting book. I did was looking forward to it because again, I like this the weirder stuff the better. And it was delayed a couple times, so very good. Lots of I always like references and stories. Like on some of the covers, they show like Bruce Lee, and they show like Steve McGinnis, and I'm sorry, not Steve McGinnis. Oh, what's his name? No, the guy from Bullet, Steve McQueen. Just stuff like that. So it's nice to see those period time references as well. So I think when you do get a chance to read it, Tyler, you'll like it because it's just it's Gonzo type of weird. So
Yeah, I
like
mean,
a Pulp Fiction type of thing.
even, well, I guess this can transition into our next bit, 'cause this is our last book. Even when it comes to reading stuff online, because of the paper shortages, because of things either being delayed or pushed back, or people not getting it till a week before, or 2 weeks before, or 2 weeks after, rather, or in some cases, like Primordial, a week early,
Or just not at all.
or Swamp Dogs. We had Swamp Dogs last week as well, and that apparently wasn't until this week, but it it's confusing. And I know, like, there's a couple people that we watch who they're dealing with the same issue, whereas and we picked out probably 3 or 4 books that they had on their this week's picks, that they were, their books to watch out for thing, and like there was one on there in particular that we had read 2 weeks ago.
Yeah. Or even like we reviewed Ant last week, and I had no problem getting Ant last week at all like that. But then even still this week, there was like some of the different copies showed up, some of
Well,
the
and that's
apps.
one I saw that was available digitally this week all of a sudden.
Yeah, and then some of the other apps all of a sudden just said it was released like today and that. So yeah, it's quite strange. Like we have Primordial, which is a book that we enjoyed the first one in that, and we have that, but we're not going to review it to next week because it's not supposed to come out the next week, and we had enough stuff already for this week. So very very strange. Like I said, we're kind of switching over to the rant part here now with the paper shortage and stuff, and I wasn't going to mention it again because it's just ongoing everywhere, and not even just this industry, but across all industries. But I saw that earlier this week, Image made a release saying that they're not going to do second prints anymore. So I mean that means anything after the first issue is not going to be anymore. So that means no more alternative covers, or if it's a hot book and you weren't able to get it the first time around, then you just don't get to read it. So
I feel like Image doesn't do a whole lot of second prints or reprints anyway.
for certain books it does. Like for things like for like your Spawn will have lots of different covers, or
There'll
your
be
Guns.
lots of covers, yeah.
Right. But then there's things like your Sweet Paprika and that where they have multiple prints. It just depends on how popular the book is. And again too, so they said that, which is okay. I'm okay because I used to be a guy that used to hate second prints and stuff like that. I thought it was kind of like a rip off, like having the same action figure 50 times just painted different. But I got into second prints a little bit more because they started being different. They started having like different artwork, or completely different covers. Not just like, oh, here's second cover with like a different barcode.
Like what Marvel was doing a few years ago, whereas
Yeah.
first print was red, second print was blue, and then so on
Yeah,
and so forth.
same with DC too. They would just change some of the background coloring. So that's why I like buying the second prints, especially from the independents, because they had way different covers in that. So again, I can't really say too much about that because I've done both things. But
I don't see Image being the ones that are really the issue when it comes to stuff like this. And you had mentioned it before, when you have people
right,
like Dynamite doing like 25 covers per book,
right.
like a ridiculous amount. You'll have, your photo, your black and white, this, and then you have versions of all those.
And like washes of it too, like so
Yeah.
not just black and white, but like a green one. And again too, it's like what kind of ties in. So again, with Dynamite, you get because then it's okay if you don't have a ton of
Oh,
covers because
I
I don't
don't think we
mind doing
mentioned
covers.
Image isn't even doing
Well,
replacements anymore either.
that's getting into this part
Oh,
here because with Dynamite books, they just have crappy paper. Like when it comes, like not crappy paper in the sense that's like falls apart in your hands, but nothing will ever show up without a crease or a dent or a rub or something like that. It's just that's just Dynamite books. So then you lose a lot of stuff like that. Um, but then what Tyler was saying too is now Image won't do a lot of replacement stuff. So what they're going to do is you're going to have to truly document it, pictures and all that, and they're going to decide yes or no, and they're going to be very, very strict about stuff. And they're not going to do like replacements. They're probably just going to give you replacement credit. So again, too, so now what happens to to the retailer and to the person who wants to buy, you can't find, or it'll be hard to find like a good copy. if you want to have for grading purposes. You can't sell nothing, or they have already tell you that you don't pre-sell stuff, because if you can't live up to it, that you're the one that's at loss. They're telling people who get exclusives that, again, don't pre-sale stuff without knowing what you got to see it beforehand, because you can't get replacement stuff for that. Mm-hmm. So that kind of makes it very, very tough.
I do think it almost seems like Image is trying to force the hand of distributors, though, to step up their game, because ultimately it falls back on them when these books come damaged. They're not getting put in the box damaged, and they're not getting damaged being taken out of the box.
Right, and that's the thing too. They're saying that with Image, that in that case, if you're gonna stipulate that, then you have to become the direct shipper for that. You can't box it, send it off to Diamond or to whoever else distributes it, and then let them deal with that. You have to go direct as well too. So yeah, it will change stuff.
Yeah, I think that's about it for comic news this week.
Yeah, we didn't have much for ranting.
No, I'm trying to think. There might have been one more thing. I don't remember now. Probably nothing.
We can do the contest winner, and
that's
and then we have a little bit of a quick little review on Lock and Key.
Sure. Yeah. So this week.
Okay. Yeah.
No, I've got it. Okay. My program is shot for that stupid wheel. Mm-hmm. But I just spun it off screen here, and our good friend C. Barley has won this week for our 1 in 15 chicken.
That's right.
Double. So we're not going to reach out to you now because it's only about 12:45. So you'll probably hear from us after the show or sometime later this weekend.
That's right. The 1 in 15 chicken devil ratio goes to you. I appreciate everybody who did post up their favorite Halloween or scary themed or what.
There were some great covers.
Yeah, there was a few I hadn't seen before, and that's what I like seeing artwork. The other day on I think it was the Winnipeg comic app or collectors or addicts, I'm not too sure. I actually bought some original art for it. Looks like it might have been either a Popeye comic or a Popeye coloring book. So again, I checked that out well, and I like it. I'm really liking the original art. There's always something to like about comics. You don't have to like just comics themselves. You can be an art guy, or you can be a statuette guy, or whatever. So it's nice to see.
Well, that's what a lot of it is becoming for me, is art. Like, I'd probably say, how many times I'm not going to buy so many more comics, and then you get stuff like those Masterworks covers they're doing right now.
Yeah,
and I've got majority of those that are released so far, just because they're so good.
Or I like all the gun hunting covers, because I kind of gotten into the pin up or the sexy art a little bit. Same thing too with like the what we've been referring to as more of the mature adult comics lately. Not an adult. Well, I guess they are kind of adult when you think about they're pretty sexy and stuff like that. So
gun hunting for sure.
Yeah, or even like the black label ones or the black bag ones for Barbaric and Last Book You'll Ever Read. That's some of the most dirty artwork.
Well, some of those, yeah, they're not even like pinup style. Like some of them are just like adult jokes on the front of it.
Adult joke.
Barbaric is just him like shitting in a pond or something.
On the one of them, yeah, but then like I said, there's another covers on that, and like I said, Last Book You'll Ever Read in that, where it's just straight up like porn scenes that are drawn out, but they'll throw like a demon or antler on somebody or whatever. So.
Yeah. And then while we were chatting, I was able to pull up a Lock and Key poster for your little review there. Yeah.
Cool. Yeah, so this week, it must have been Monday or earlier.
It's the picture of the key going in the neck. I can't even look at it. I hear the sound.
Yeah, so I Lock and Key is a series that was put up by IDW and Joe Hill. A few years ago, they've had, again, one of those universes that's expanded. It has multiple volumes and stories, and actually now is currently crossing over into the Sandman universe. So I've actually heard rumors that they might try and cross that over even like the TV shows and stuff like that at one
Yeah,
point.
I don't think it's, I don't think it's a coincidence.
No, and I mean it'd be a little different because one is HBO and one is Netflix, but who knows, whatever. No, nowadays all things are possible when it comes to money and that. So, it's season 2. So if anybody's never watched this show, Lock and Key is about the Locke family and Key House. So the Locks own this house that's called Key House, and there's all kinds of magical keys stashed around this place, and the family finds them, and these keys do certain things that'll open up doors to other worlds or different abilities, or they'll let you go into your mind and stuff like that. And being written by Joe Hill, they're kind of creepy and much like his dad Stephen King, a little bit spooky in that. The original graphic novels and stuff were very mature and stuff, and I find that with the Netflix version, it's a little bit less. I won't. It's still creepy and stuff like that, but it's definitely not. It's all ages for sure. It does focus a lot on the kids. I am enjoying the second season. It is expanding right pretty much after the first season. I like everybody who acts in this show, so that's probably one of the reasons I do enjoy it, because everybody is kind of relatable and their characters seem to be accurate. I'm enjoying it, where I'm sure a lot of people probably won't, because they'll think it is too kid-like or whatever. They'll expect it to be more like Haunting of Hill House or something like that. But I'm also, a kind of a fan of Riverdale. I know that's another kind of a show that's kind of meant for younger
It
audience, but
felt
has
kind
that more
of
adult twist.
new mutancy.
Yeah, it does. It has like that, little bit old, younger crowd, but still horror feel to it. So
Yeah.
I believe there's 10 episodes in, and I've gotten through 4, so I'm almost halfway through, and I am enjoying it. And I hope this is one series that I know it is, series second season already. So I hope this is another one of those things that Netflix doesn't decide to either screw up or just pull the plug automatically, because it's doing quite well. I like that one, and I've also liked their take on Umbrella Academy. So I mean, I like all that stuff. So
And I just took a quick look because I thought Sandman was through Netflix, and they both are.
oh,
They're both at
Sandman.
Netflix. Yeah.
I thought for sure Sandman was HBO Max.
The audio thing they have is through Amazon. They have
Right.
that audio radio thing. But no, I just looked it up. It's on Netflix, or it
Oh,
will
okay.
be.
Well, then that's definitely going to be happening then.
Yeah.
And I've
I
I've
don't know
read
if they'll do a whole crossover like show, but you'll probably see people bleed over back and
yeah,
forth.
and that's I've read the comics that they had that going on right now. It's like issue only 2 or 3, or maybe the second batch of stories from that, but it's good.
Yeah. I'm just going over my notes. That looks like it's everything for this week.
Well, again, we'll just kind of mention the whole Comic Con this weekend. So it starts tomorrow afternoon, being Friday.
Yeah, I
Again,
think 5 to 9. I think it is.
something like that. And again, we're mentioning that because we are pre-recording this. It's our first pre-recorded show, so it is still a good show, but kind of loses some of the. I like it when we interact with people and stuff like that. So
Yeah, I'm
apologies for
missing
that.
C's banter or Harold's
For sure.
banter.
For sure. Or Scott throwing in the occasional comment and whatnot. But again, with us doing that, we're spending the time working this weekend, so we're going to try and get a bunch of behind the scenes interviews. Like I said, we're definitely going to try and sit and speak with Justin, for sure, the artist team in that, and who knows, maybe whoever else we see walking around the show, we'll try and get their takes on stuff. And just if you are in Winnipeg and you want to come down and check us out, like I said, we will be at the Big Country booth. They have a retail booth, and we'll be at the Artist Alley as well. Come see us. We'll be excited to see you.
Yeah, we'll sign some stuff for you.
It's so funny that you mentioned that, because I've sold a few copies of our books at work, and the one girl wants me to autograph it. I said, well, I want to. If I do, I'll sign it by our logo in the back. But being black, I'm black. I keep telling her I want to
get a silver one.
Yeah, I want to get a silver Sharpie or something like that. So yeah, and sign it next to the artist name. So that's kind of cool. I thought that was neat. All right, sign her off, Ty.
Yeah, we will see everyone Next week, actually, next week the show is on my birthday, so maybe we'll pre-record that one too.
We'll see. Depends what's going on, I guess.
We'll see how busy I am. As far as I know, I have no plans yet.
Sure.
But we'll see y'all next week.
All right. Bye, guys.